Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to talk about the new Fragment Summon champion, Bergoth the Malformed. So today I'm going to give my honest take on this champion, talk about, a few issues. First of all, let me start out by some negative here. Not a bad champion, not the best epic champion either. Give you kind of a rundown on where I think that, let me rephrase, who I think could actually benefit from this champion. Before we do so, I do want to kind of point out again, first of all, overall, really high on Raid right now. Like, I'm so excited for patch 3.0. I think they've been moving in an amazing direction. However, I still have to be critical when it's justified, and in my case, or in my opinion, excuse me, it is justified in this case, right? And that is, dude, this fusion, this fragment summon, excuse me, was actually just as difficult, if not more difficult, than legendary fragment summon champions. So, I mean, I kind of have to start this. How could I cover this champion and not start it out on that note, right? I mean, man. I was able to get him, obviously, but I'm a paying customer, right? I'm not free to play. I'm not a light spender. I'm a heavy spender. And I bought, as you can see here, I bought a few of the Black Friday, Cyber, whatever deals, too. But that doesn't account for everybody. I have to be looking out for my audience, not just me, obviously. So, man, it's really disappointing. I think that epic fragment summons should inherently be easier than legendary fragment summons, especially because, the people who can use Bergoth the Malformed, especially, are going to be more it's going to be more challenging to actually get him. So let's take a quick look at the champion. First, let's look at his kit real quick, and then I'm going to show you him kind of in a solo run, and then I'll show you him in some dungeons as well. So here he is. I put him in, I just kind of switched things up a little bit today, guys, and I put him in Relentless gear. Any champion that kind of has a provoke, or does damage, or excuse me, does healing based on whenever he does damage, like Vrask, or vice versa, whenever he gets targeted, like this champion, I think they're worth considering in Relentless gear. I wouldn't say it's the go-to, choice. But anyway, we put him in some Relentless. Let's go over his skills real quick. So Midnight Juggernaut, he only has 2 actives, 1 passive ability. Attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a continuous heal, strong version on him for 1 turn if the attack is critical. Okay, solid. Going to be keeping himself alive, and you're going to need to keep him alive because his A2 is an AoE provoke. That is on a 60% chance on the provoke on a 4-turn cooldown. And again, the reasoning behind the Relentless gear, you can put him in a shield set as well because his damage is based off of HP, or you can just put him in life gear or immortal gear or whatever you have, crit rate, whatever. He has decent multipliers. I saw a couple videos on him claiming that he's like an OP nuker, and, dude, we're YouTubers, we all exaggerate, at times, or even more than exaggerating, we kind of get overhyped sometimes, so I've been guilty before too, but I have to be real with you guys. I don't see him as some sort of a nuker, certainly not an OP nuker, and usually you don't see that out of champions with damage based on HP, kind of like supplemental extra damage, and that's what you're getting out of Bergoth the Malformed, not really nukage. Canister is passive. Whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies except his champion by 20% of the damage received. So this is actually a really solid heal to have. Some people have been reporting issues of it not always triggering. I have not experienced that yet. Maybe we'll see it in today's video, but for me, he has been healing every time he is attacked. Straight up. So we'll see that again in action. Masteries here, guys. I went with War Master, pretty basic offensive tree to kind of push his damage. You guys can kind of see what I chose there. For support tree, I went down the left-hand side here. I started with some HP. You do need accuracy on this champion to land the provoke, so keep that in mind. We're aiming for around, for level 20 dungeons, around 200 to 250 accuracy range. Ideally closer to 250 to make sure we're consistently landing those provokes. And if you, if you can get that through artifacts, there's no reason to get extra accuracy unless you're using him in arena beyond 250 for what we have right now in the game as far as content goes. So lay on hands, basically the heal masteries. We kind of went down the left-hand side, as I mentioned before. He does have the continuous heal, which we can, perhaps get an extra turn on vis-a-vis lasting gifts. So that's what we went with for the masteries on this champion. As always, don't just blindly copy my masteries. See what makes sense for you and the team that you have him on. I haven't even upgraded all this gear on the champion. So for the middle row, guys, we went with speed on the boots, HP obviously on the chest. We went crit damage on the gauntlets, and then we prioritized getting HP and crit rate as substats on the rest of the gear. Here you can see a double roll on HP. This helmet I should really upgrade before I go playtest him because, you know, we want higher HP obviously on this champion. Damage does scale off of it. And then HP again with some crit rate here on substats on the shield. So that's kind of how I have him built out. HP on the ring, obviously, crit damage on the amulet, and accuracy, excuse me, on the banner. Now, another way to build this guy would be HP on the banner, and then try to get the accuracy from the substats. You can kind of use that build if you are unable to get enough crit rate to justify the crit damage gauntlets, and then go with crit damage on the, or crit rate, excuse me, on the gauntlets instead. So that is an option for you guys. He is obviously Spirit Affinity here, so let's go ahead and try him out in a variety of places. First, I want to, you know, we'll just save the helmet as it is. I'm sure it won't make that big of a difference. I just want to run him just so you can see his damage. We're actually going to compare him to Shield Guard. So we'll see how they do here. Just to, so you can see kind of what damage he's putting out here. So you can see that is his AoE, around 17k damage or so. I mean, basically the same as Shield Guard. I want to say in terms of his overall DPS, he's very similar to Shield Guard in terms of damage. And Shield Guard puts out a decent amount of damage. He's defensive based. We are HP based, so kind of take that into consideration as well. But you'll see when he gets hit here, his heal. So check it out. Well, he's not getting hit. He will eventually, though. Okay, so you can see that little heal there, 1800. That's because he got hit, and again, that's 20% of the damage that he received. So, in a weird way, you almost want him to be receiving a little bit more damage. You can see 3,800 on that hit, on that heal. You almost want him to be receiving a little bit more damage. So for that reason, I would actually advise you guys to, if you are going to, you know, lead on this champion, I wouldn't prioritize putting a ton of defense on him because you want high HP, so he's actually taking a lot of damage. So lower defense or mid-range defense, right? That way it will bolster up his heals for all of the allies. Does that make sense to you guys? So you actually want him to have more HP so he can take a hit, but not a ton of defense because it's based off the damage he actually receives. So let's see how much they put out comparatively here damage-wise. I don't know. Anecdotally, it seems like... Okay. So yeah, I was going to say anecdotally, it seems like Shield Guard's really out-damaging him. So again, this guy's not a... He's not a nuker, man, you know? He can put out a decent amount of damage. But we have him built out. You know, let me check real quick here on our... I didn't even show you the total stats. My bad on that. But I will right now, and his total, I mean, look at 64k HP, his damage is based off HP, and then 223 crit damage with 100% crit rate, 105% crit rate, is, he should be putting out, you know, a lot of damage. I don't have him in like full Savage and whatever, so of course you can push him to his limit and probably get another 100k or 200k maybe, you know, in that last battle, but still, it's not like you're just like, wow, this guy's a nuker and a provoker. No, he's like a tanky provoker type champion. So let's go ahead and show you him in a dungeon as well. As we do, I'm going to go ahead and kind of give my thoughts on this champion overall. We have him on, actually, we don't have him on a team here. Maybe, do I have him on a dragon? I was running him somewhere last night. Okay, so I actually don't have a team built out. Actually, you know what? I ran him in Fire Knight. Let's go ahead and do that. I feel like lately we've been showing a lot of Ice Golem. All right, so War Maiden always dies. She's just too squishy right now, so forgive me if I add I don't know, a Stag Knight. I don't want to go too OP, but let's kind of run a Stag Knight here. Keep in mind that he's in pretty good gear, you know, Relentless, not God tier, but certainly end game gear. And why am I taking so long? What am I adding? Oh, Stag Knight. What am I doing here, guys? Oh gosh, I apologize. Wow, we're taking forever. All right, here we go. So, can he keep this team alive, essentially, is the question. 2 squishy Cold Hearts, no revivers on the team. We do have 1 healer in one additional healer in Apothecary. We're running him in the lead to get the extra defense. And you're going to see, the idea here is obviously, okay, so he just, oh, he had the shield, my bad. I was like, why did he not heal? Why did he heal for 0 on that? And he had a little sliver of shield. So that's actually my bad. keep that into consideration. I actually have Stag Knight in a shield set here, guys. So, and if you build him in the shield set, same thing. I mentioned building him in a shield set earlier in this video. Something to at least consider is once that shield is there, even if your allies have low HP underneath that shield, he's not going to be healing them. So just kind of, you know, take that into consideration. So looking at this champion overall here, guys, I mean, he's nowhere close to as good as Vrask is. Granted, different type of kits, you know. He has 60% chance, not 100% chance to land that provoke. Look at a champion like Rockbreaker. Way better, right? Way better. It's a 3-turn cooldown. It's a 100% chance of landing a provoke. And a defensive-based champion, a little bit more robust on the build. You get the heal addition, and maybe a bit more damage, a significant amount more damage off of this dude. But I don't know. Me personally, I don't think he's anything super special. Certainly not to justify how difficult this fusion, this fragment summon is, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, not to belabor that point. So I think that he can be definitely used in faction wars. I'm not trying to be too negative on him. He's not an awful epic champion. I just think there's a lot of better options out there. So do you really want to invest in this guy and then the next day you pull a better option? I am not sure. I don't think he's trash, but I don't think I'm with everybody else who thinks he's a real rock star champion. And you're seeing him here again, relentless. So we're pushing him to his limit. But I don't know. I mean, obviously this team's going to be successful here. It's not a bad squad at all. Granted, 2 Cold Hearts on the team as well. But I purposely chose pretty squishy champions to put around him. I have Apothecary built out in all speed. You know, a decent amount of HP and defense, but that's not really a priority there. But I think in Relentless, it helps get the shield down at least, and it helps keep kind of everybody healed. How much healage is he? Okay, we didn't even see there. So, you know, you can see his total heals there, guys. He put out double the heals total than Apothecary. Apothecary put out 50k. He put out 111. So he put out decent damage too. I gotta hand it to him. He outdamaged Stag Knight. He was up there with Cold Hearts. So I guess, you know, not a nuker, but can definitely be kind of a secondary damage dealer on your team. So there's that. I think that's, you know, I think he's a decent champion. What about you guys? Are you guys sold on this guy? Am I too low on him? I just think that he's a faction war champion, definitely can help you out. However, you know, in Knight Revenant, which he is, I think you get a lot of like what he brings to the table already for the most part. So again, he is, I'm going to give him, if I'm going to rank him, I'm going to give him a B- for a champion. That's my grade on this guy. C+, B-, around that area. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? Is he worth it? I would not spend a ton of money if I was not a big spender to go after this champion to make sure I'm competing in all these events. This would not be my guy if I was really going to push all my resources in the middle of the table. I would probably wait till, you know, the Christmas fusion and whatnot, Fragment Summon, whatever comes next. So that would be my own personal opinion on that, I guess. You guys let me know what you think again in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this guide, you enjoyed the content here on the channel, I invite you to subscribe. I really appreciate you guys who do. Thank you, and as always, take care, guys.